Hey guys, so let's talk about raising ducks for profit. So ducks are super fun. We free range ours in the summer, and there's a lot of sloughs that we have around here, so it's a little frustrating when you have to go and find which slough your ducks are in the evening to bring them back to bed. But I do love seeing a flock of ducks waddling around together. They are a lot of fun. They can be messy, they can be noisy, but they are a fun animal to have around your farmstead. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about raising ducks for profit. So again, hatching out ducklings. There are other options to raise them for eggs or meat. All of those are great. We specifically like hatching out, so that's what we do. That's where we see the easiest profit for us. So I'm talking about breeds, or like for the math here, I'm talking about breeds like Welsh Harlequins, some of the crosses, khaki Campbells. They're going to give you approximately 300 eggs per year. The great thing about ducks is that they're going to keep laying all through the winter. Downside to ducks, a lot of people do free range them, so a lot of people do lose them, which works well for you when you're hatching them. They're a pretty easy sell. They grow rapidly. They're in pretty high demand. Like, we don't usually have many left. But anyway, so this is based on a week because they're laying year round. We don't have to do the math seasonally. I am basing it off the 300 eggs per year though. And a 75% hatch rate. That's what I use for all my math, because sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. Like, we hatch out so many different batches that I average it at 75%. Oftentimes it's higher, but I like to, when I'm doing my math and building my business plans and stuff, I like to build it on the lower end of things, so that I'm not getting surprised. So anyways, so that works out to about 57 eggs per week with a 75% hatch rate, brings us down to 42.75%. So we're just going to round that up to a 43. And so ducklings, prices have been going up. So $12 a piece if they're purebreds, a little bit less if they're crosses. Typically ducklings, even if they're crosses, you're getting about $10 a piece on them. The only time you got to worry about the crosses is with the Muscovies and anything else, because you'll end up getting hybrid fertility issues. Now, there is the odd time that those crosses can reproduce fertile eggs, so you can still eat them, but you most likely 98% chance are not going to be able to hatch an egg laid by a Muscovy cross duck, because they are still technically two different species. I'm not going to delve into all the science of that, because I don't know it off the top of my head. But anyways, so $12 each for 43 ducklings works out to $516 per week, which isn't too shabby. That's based off of 12 ducks again, so 10 hens, 2 drakes. And then factoring in your feed, I did it at 40 cents a pound. So to maintain that flock, it's just under $10 a week. So you're still making $500 a week or $2,000 a month off a flock of 10 ducks during peak season. Now, the bonus with ducks is that their meat is amazing. I don't know if you've ever eaten duck. If you haven't, you should. But if you look up the USDA posts every month, they post the national averages for poultry, and it shows pastured poultry. So pasture-raised duck, the actual average price of direct-to-consumer duck is $22.63 a pound. So that's the average price, with the low side on the wholesale side of things being $5.99 a pound. So keep in mind, this is for pasture-raised animals. This is not for grow-outs down in a great big barn. So it is considering that it's a premium product. The average dressed weight of a duck is 10 pounds, a little higher for a male, a little lower for a female. And with feeding them, you're looking about 6 ounces a day of duck food. Again, if you're free ranging, that price goes down. If you're fermenting, price goes down. If you're buying in bulk, price goes down. But I did the math at 40 cents a pound, and that works out to about 15 cents per day per duck. So raising them until 12 weeks, you're looking at about $12.60. You've got some pretty awesome profit margins there. Your area might factor in, like if there's a lot of people raising duck in your area, what USD permits are available to you. I know not every state participates in that. It's definitely worth looking into though, because you can in some cases sell directly to restaurants. And a big thing with ducks is a lot of people don't necessarily know how to cook them. You can include recipes, you can do value-added products like kebabs, smoked duck, you can do pre-marinated duck, make it easy for your consumers, but all of those things increases the value of your product. So it's potentially extremely profitable to raise your ducks for meat and resell. On the low side, you could be looking at $47.30 per duck. Now you have to factor in that you're going to get a premium if you are parting them out, so selling them by the breast or thighs. But then don't forget about duck feet, duck heads, duck wings, organs, anything you wouldn't normally think to use. A lot of raw dog food feeders go crazy for that. Like, we can't keep enough around to supply them all. Make excellent treats. It's no waste. You're making even more money off of what you're growing out. But not even that, it's for people consumption. If you're reading reports on it, they're expecting a 75% growth rate over the next 3 years in the consumption of duck. So it's something to look into. Plus, they are super fun and cute, because who doesn't love a duck running around, especially a whole flock of them. We personally really like the jumbo pekins. We've had great luck with the Muscovies as well. They are a little more flighty and can get away a little easier, but they're great birds. They do have a darker meat on them. You can do a Muscovy Pekin cross and get Moulard, which is a really nice sought after meat because it's a little in between the two. But that's something for you to find your favorites. Obviously the prices of your ducklings can go up with the more or less common varieties, like Saxonies, Silver Appleyards. Those typically fetch a better price. A lot of people really like them. They're beautiful. Same with the Welsh Harlequins. Really just depends on your preference. But yeah, there's the potential to be making $2,000 a month off a fairly small flock of ducks. Housing like ours, even in this weather, it's minus 11 here today Celsius, which I don't know offhand what that is in Fahrenheit. Our ducks. Hey guys, so speaking of the cold, my phone froze and died. So we're moved inside now. So in the winter, with keeping our ducks and geese, they do free range. We do offer water occasionally. Most of our livestock actually eat snow throughout the winter. It's easy for us, constant access for them. Sorry about Ruger's nose in the video. We haven't had any issues with that. Our birds do wonderful. They lay great. Ruger, the joys of dogs. Yeah, so our ducks do great in the winter. They do have free access to shelter. It's well bedded. We do keep nesting boxes on the ground for them, as well as well bedded with straw, so there's always some insulation for them. They do have access to roosts. Most of them don't roost for us, and they do quite well in that bedding, even in our colder environment. So yeah, ducks are a great way to make some extra money. We do have great results with selling various types of poultry. Our customers love that they can be like, hey, I was thinking about turkeys, can you help me out? Or hey, what do you have for ducks this week? Allie, sorry. But yeah, so it's a great way to increase sales. You have a few different options with them. And they're fun. We love what we do with our poultry. We love having them around. I always say that if you have livestock, you will either be laughing or swearing, and it's pretty true. But like I said in my other video, for those of you that are wanting to get into keeping poultry, for beginners, if you don't love it, it's gonna be a lot of work that doesn't seem like it's worthwhile. So if you're not sure about ducks, because they are messy, they can be dirty and they can be loud, maybe go meet with a breeder and see if it's something you're interested in, or if you have a friend that raises them, go and see, because a lot of people will try to make it seem a little more perfect than it actually is. So do your research, but best of luck. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can here if you ask them. Sorry about Ellie's head. And happy farming. Please like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.